Presence in the area for Ireland. Andrews arriving late. Andrews has scored. The Republic of Ireland take the lead. And Keith Andrews gets his third goal for his country. And what a start to this Euro 2012 playoff.
In a city by the name of Tallinn, we sure delivered a hammering. Our bikes are packed, we're headed off to Poland. That cursed hand of Gaul broke the hearts of us all, but on the road to Europe we will never fall. We're from Galway, Clare and Sligo, from Limerick, Cork and Kerry, from Navan, Tyrone, Donegal and Dublin. We're together in our masses on the rocky road to Poland, and we're singing, come on Ireland, the future champions. Trap and the lads are setting sail for victory against the English and the French and Italy. We're together in our masses, all for one and one for all, and singing should have been a the day, ole, ole. Just hunt McGeevy, Whelan, Doyle, Walters and Long, and don't forget, believe me, Robbie Keane. Trap and the lads are setting sail for victory against the English and the French and Italy. We're together in our masses, all for one and one for all, and singing should have been a fall.
Hello everyone and welcome to, this is a special, it's all about Euro 2012. Euro 2012 starts next Thursday, June 9th I understand, June 9th or 10th, I think it's June 9th, and it's going to be a great tournament. I'm not, like, anybody that knows me knows that I'm kind of not exactly a big football fan all year round, but when it comes to a tournament like the European Championships or the World Cup, or the other continental championships, I am very into that because I love international football. It's such a different dynamic, such a different dimension to club football. Club football is good. I enjoy it around Christmas time. I enjoy it maybe at the end of the season, at the start of the season. I find it hard to keep consistent because I've got so many different interests. I find it very hard to keep consistent as far as being a long-term supporter. But as far as the European Championships, Euro 2012, as you've seen at the start of the show there, that's one of Ireland's theme songs for Euro 2012. It's really good, it really gets the excitement pumping, you know, and I am really looking forward to this big match. The first big match of the tournament, the first match for Ireland, of course, against Croatia. Now the Croats have some history in the history of big tournaments. Since they became an independent nation in 1992, they've been in several big tournaments, starting of course with France 98. Ourselves have been in many big tournaments, of course. We've been in, up until now, we have been in 4 major competitions. We nearly qualified for a few back in the 60s when Johnny Giles was the main man in the team, and we qualified for many then in the 80s and 90s. Of course, 1988 Euro 88, of course, in Germany, and when we beat England 1-0 in Stuttgart. It was, of course, a momentous occasion with, of course, the man himself, Ray Houghton, getting that goal, a header against the English. Also, you know, a lot of great groups in this European Championships this year. Of course, we'll just run you through the groups here. The first group includes the host nation Poland, the Czech Republic. That it's going to include Greece. Of course, Poland played Greece on the first day, of course, on June 8th, actually. It is Poland against Greece. I understand it's going to take place in Warsaw. And the Greeks, of course, the Greeks won it in 2004 as a massive underdog. And of course, Poland are known for the odd surprise. Poland, of course, as you might recall, played the host nation Germany in the 2006 opening match of the World Cup and got beat 2-1. When you think back, when you look back at these great matches in the World Cups, the European Championships, you could recall Greece coming into 2004's European Championships as a massive underdog, and they played terrible football. Like, they played absolutely terrible football. They had players that, well, unless you were a hardcore fan of all European football, you wouldn't know hardly any of these players. People like Zagorakis, some of the names in that team, you think they were the Apostles, but anyway, some big names, great players. Well, it turned out that they were actually very good players. They played out of their skins. They played in a way maybe Jack Charlton would be proud of, and they went and they won it. They beat France in the quarters. They beat Portugal in the semis, and then they went on to win the final. Maybe it was Portugal in the final, sorry, and they played someone else. I think they put the Czechs out of the semis. I'm not 100% sure. But then when you look at the Irish, we'll talk about the Irish in a little while. But first of all, we're going to talk about this Group A. You have the Poles, the Greeks, and then the other two teams in the group are the Russians and the Czech Republic. And the Czech Republic always produces the European Championships. And you know, the European Championships, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, is a far harder tournament to advance in than the World Cup. Because the World Cup, the European teams would be top of the pecking order in the World Cup. You would say they'd be the top teams in the World Cup, apart from the South Americans in some cases. But the Europeans and the two top South Americans, Brazil and Argentina, are always the best teams probably at the World Cup. And when you look at that, you would say the Europeans, it's very stiff competition when it comes to this. But at the same time, the Czechs seem to always produce at these European Championships. Remember 2004? Nobody expected that. They went all the way to the semi-finals, and they really were good. Milan Baros, of course, people like Pavel Nedved, a Juventus legend, played for them. He was the playmaker in midfield, very much the Roy Keane of the Czechs. Then, of course, in 1996, Czech Republic went against Germany in the final. Oliver Bierhoff making a name for himself, scoring a header to get the first ever golden goal. Big memories there, folks. Always great nostalgia brought up when it comes up to a big international tournament. I always look back over the old tips and look back over now we've got YouTube, which is excellent because you can look at a lot of stuff and you don't have to even put in it's amazing the way it's changed over the years, but that's a whole different ball game, folks. Russia are a team that they've been up there. Of course, Russia, as the USSR, were in Ireland's group in 1988 when we played England, the USSR, and of course Holland in that group, and we drew with Russia 1-1. Ronnie Whelan scored a great A great goal, a free kick. I think it was a free kick. Great finish. I understand. I wasn't around. Well, it was around. There's only one, but I remember seeing the tips and all. Oh, great stuff. Ronnie Whelan, another Irish legend. So then 4 teams in Group A: Czechs, Poland, the hosts, Russia, the Russian Bears, and of course the Czech Republic. I would say Russia have a couple of players that stick out in my mind would be Pavlyuchenko, and probably there's a couple of other big names in there. But Pavlyuchenko, if Alenishev is still there, I remember Alenishev was there a couple of years ago. He was very good. I'm not sure if he has came or went since, but they'll be worth looking out for. It's going to be a group of death, definitely. They would probably be the 4, maybe 2 or 3 of the minnows in this championships would be in this group. But these European teams can do anything against each other, I think. Group B, well, my picks for that group, Group A, would be, I would say, the Czechs will go through, and I would say probably Russia, but the hosts, Poland and Greece. You can never rule out any of these, but my 2 picks would probably be the Czechs and the Russians to go through from that group.